Hello there, this is Will, and this is going to be a quick video, well, not a quick video, on quantification uh, logic, and this comes out of your book, the chapter on quantification, that's 10, and we'll do some exercises from 10.4, but first we're just going to review the square of opposition. So if you remember, the square of opposition, or at least the modern square, I'm going to draw it in a different color. All right. If you remember the modern square, right? You had A over here, you had E over here, um, I over here, and O over here, right? Um, these are the relations that hold in the modern square, and those are called contradictories. And I just want to write in English really quick each of the um, propositional um, forms. So this was obviously A. No S is P is E. Some S is P was I. And then O was some S is not P. Sorry, that's a little bit sloppy. I just want you to remember that because now um, we're just going to review kind of like how we really um, could turn this into an asyllogistic form of reasoning. So the interesting thing about this is when we talk about the, the scope of each quantifier, these are the universal ones, and these right here are the particulars. So there is a particular way you quantify these, and for the universal quantifiers, you use x in parentheses, and that just stands for all x, right? For all x. Um, this backwards e here kind of stands for, well, it stands for at least one. Or the word some. Up here, this could be all, every, each, or no. Um, so this, negation is just going to be our standard tilde. So don't worry about that at the moment. But now I'm gonna put the square kind of sorry, I'm losing it. I'm gonna put the square in quantified terms, right? So for all x, if uh, x is an s, then x is a p, right? Um, Same over here for all x. If s is, or sorry, if x is an s, up, sorry, I'm trying to erase here. Okay, there we go. If x is an s, then x is not a p, right? That is our E statement. Now down below here, let me switch colors. Yeah. There's at least one x such that if x is an s, um, sorry, there exists an x such that x is an s and x is a p. And then over here, this is going to be roughly the same, which is going to be there is an x such that x is an s and not p of x, right? So just think about these in terms of the square of opposition, right? And instead of thinking of these as contradictory relations, you should really just think of them as negation, right? So the negation, right? Let me change colors again here. The negation of this statement, right, is this statement here, right? So this is the negation. And the same obviously goes for over here, right? So this is the negation of this, right? These are negations. And that's just for your own knowledge. You're not going to be ever tested on that. It's just something I wanted to show you. So Now let's go into some problems, like how do we actually use this stuff? Well, if you just go and you take a look at page 411, and that's going to be A. And the book does number 1 for you, but let's just look at number 2 briefly. Number 2 is sparrows are not mammals. I think it's important to note that in this English locution, we are talking about the category of sparrows and the category of mammals, and we're using negation. So that's important when you think about how to translate this. So I translate it as, for all x, if x is a sparrow, then x is not a mammal, right? That's how I translate it. And I think that's a fair way to translate that. Number 3, this says reporters are present. Now it's really important to note that um, you know, the word present, right, doesn't really denote a category. It kind of denotes a property, and I don't want to get into this debate, but it allows me just to see on a very basic level how to quantify this. So it means that there's at least one person there, and the person is a reporter, and the person is present is the way I read this. So I quantify it um, as follows, right? There's at least one reporter that's here, or that's present, and reporters are people. So um, it may help a little bit when trying to distinguish how to quantify. Um, and so, okay, number 4, right? Talking about nurses. Nurses are always considerate. Now here, you have to read this as considerate people. Always considerate people. Nurses are always considerate people. So that means if she or he is a nurse, right? Uh, then, so for all nurses, right? If he or she is a nurse, then he or she is considerate, right? That's one way to do it, but you have to kind of unpack these statements. They don't just kind of fall into your lap. I mean, you really have to go after them and really break apart what the English entails. So since number 5's in your book already, let's just take a look at number 6 here. Number 6 says something about yep, swimming and being a penguin. Um, I think that's kind of a really hard one to do, and I'm just going to say, for me, it goes like this. For all x, um, uh, um, no, you know what? I'm not going to do it for all x on this one. So S of x would represent x swims, right? P of x is a penguin, right? So to swim is to be a penguin. So uh, for all x, right? For all x, if x swims, then x is a penguin. That's just kind of one way to think about that. Um, and I don't actually know if that's a good interpretation, right? But that's just kind of a loose way to do it. So I'm pretty positive about all these, but I think that there might be one other reading for this. So there might be an other reading. Um, Ooh, that's horrible. There might be another other. I'll just put I for interpretation. Now I just want to go back through here, and this book does a really nice job for you. And I just want to highlight some other things. Okay, this is called predicate specification, right? So S of x in one of your examples is denoted as x is a sparrow, and um, m of x is X is a mammal. So that's important to specify the predicate. You have to specify the predicate, or someone does. You might not have to, but someone does. It has to be either someone has to specify it for you in writing, or you have to do it. You probably, this is extra credit-ish kind of material, so you probably wouldn't have to do that, but you just definitely have to know kind of the forms. And I think this is a this is a really good way to think about the basic forms. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.